Hello, it's Tamara Hunter, and today is number 41 of 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. And we have a service hero, and I think it happened. I know it looks like it on my feed that it happened that we are connected. I am so excited to introduce Pauline Crawford Omps. She's someone I have met recently, and I can just tell you my heart is full of this woman. Um, she came, she actually was, we were on a live event or a live feed with Eric Zuli
Yeah.
and the Easy Way group. And there was just this connection, and then we started talking from there. And I was like, oh my gosh, you are a service hero just from the very get-go. So let me explain a little bit, and then I'm going to let you talk. She, as you can hear, or you haven't heard, but you will hear, that this is an international woman. She has traveled the world, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And she also is all about communication, and she has some really great information and doing some studies and doing some education and training about how we can communicate better. And that's as much as I'm going to share. I'm going to let our service hero introduce herself more and tell her story.
Hi, Tamara. It's so good to be on here with you, and I love connecting. Connecting is part of my life. So yes, as hopefully people can hear from my voice, I'm British. I was born in London, quite a long time ago, and my journey to be here in America is a love adventure, basically. Late in life, I met my American husband in Budapest in 2011, and we kind of took to each other. We started writing for 6 months, 45,000 words. I flew to America. He asked me to marry him, and I said yes. And later that year, we got married in a little white chapel in Las Vegas with Elvis Presley singing me down the aisle. But a twist in the story, and my story is all about conversation and communication. Um, is that he's had cancer, colon cancer, and he had a major operation before that wedding. And we were going to go and live in England, but sadly the operation didn't work. So we had to come back to America, and he had another operation, and which has enabled him to be okay-ish, but it meant that we were facing some amount of ill health at the beginning of our very not very long marriage yet, six coming up 6 years this October. So we traveled on and actually ended up in Malaysia for the last 4 years because it was a safer place for him to recover and for me to work. And I started again my passion for conversation, working with men and women in Malaysia as I had done in the UK. And I'm known as the ambassador of magical conversation. So that's what I'm having with Tamara and all of you. So we came back to America on December the 31st, 2017. So I've been in Orange County now for 6 months. I have planning to live in America, so I have given my fingerprints and my money to the U.S. government, and hopefully that will go smoothly. But my passion is to connect everybody in the world through conversation and to engage men and women in a much more seamless understanding of who we are, because I don't like the things that are going on. I want people to understand that there are beautiful differences between men and women and women and men. And so I've designed a blueprint to help. And my passion at the moment is to really help men understand what's going on. So I can explain a bit more about that tomorrow.
Yes, and in fact, when you said that, I thought, oh, I know a few, and don't we just go there? And you and I were visiting a little bit before we came live, and I thought, yeah, the woman's brain in regards to the man's brain in regards to our conversation, and there is actually some actual truth. And you were talking about the studies that you've been doing all
Yeah.
over the world in regards to these truths, and you've kind of come up with some blueprints, right? Isn't that what you call them?
Yeah. what I realized, and this is some study over 30 years of working as a consultant to UK businesses, that people can get very stuck about who they are for lots of reasons. So, all sorts of other reasons, but gender dynamics is one of the things, and it's about the dynamics. It's a dynamic between men and women, between different types of men, different types of women, and the dynamic between all of us and the world we live in. So what I mean by that is those of you who've been around for a few decades, the world is much more seemingly seamless because we're all digital, we're all connected, but actually our fundamental behavior patterns are still in there and can get confused. I give you a simple example. You know, men are much more straightforward, if you like, much more linear, much more um, one step, two step, three step. Whereas women are much more circular. We're much more multitasking. We're much more tangential. And when a man asks a question, he usually seeks a solution. Whereas when a woman asks a question, she's just expanding her mind, and that can confuse men totally.
You know, and when you say that, you put it so simply, and yet when you're in the middle of that conversation, it doesn't feel so simple, does it?
Oh
And
no, no, and that's where the magical conversation is important because I always say we need to know who's round the table, and that table can vary. It could be the boardroom, it could be the team table, it could be the kitchen table, it could be the bedroom table. But it's actually allowing ourselves to understand, firstly, who we are,
right.
and secondly, who's in the room with us, and then what the intention is of the gathering.
Excellent. You know, you had mentioned the circle, you know, and when you had also, you know, you told me about another thing that you've been doing, another program, or possibly part of this program, the Blueprint, and that is, and if you can go into it a little bit more, because I found it fascinating, is that you split the genders, correct? You
Yes,
split them, and then you get a whiteboard,
yes.
and then you take
Ask
and
the
you,
same question.
yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit that about that? Because I'd like to hear that again and really digest what you were talking about.
Well, I think because we get very nervous about being out of equality. So this is nothing to do with gender equality. This is about core behavior. So if you split a room between the men at one end biologically and women at the other end, and you just ask the same question, and the question normally is, so men, how do you see men, and how do you see women? Write down the words. Ask the women the same. How do you see women? How do you see men? The first thing that happens is the men usually finish much shorter in time than the women. So they write less words, and the women are still writing. So that's quite amusing. But when you turn the whiteboards around, the challenge to the room is to say that everything that is written is true. So it's a perception, a perspective, man on men and women, and women on men and women. And then you explore what the words are and what they mean. And that's something we don't do. And it's actually quite difficult to do at a mixed table without awareness because we're not as honest as we are if we're just in our group. Now, not all men are the same, and not all women are the same. So there are variants within the words written, but that's the start of this exploring, so that we can understand the blueprint is the same for both parties, and essentially it's a box and a circle that we're looking at the masculine and feminine energy in men and the masculine feminine energy in women. So once we understand the core, we can get to more complex issues. But I think we're trying to tackle complex issues without actually knowing the baseline.
So it goes back to that whole principle of keep it simple, the KISS method.
Keep it simple, and I have to say that men generally always agree with me when they say we just want a very straightforward, simple life. Um, you know, Women are complex. We are multitasking. We are able to do amazing things, which is why we're very clever at business. And my experience has been in the business world of the UK over 25 years, and then the last four in Malaysia. And really, it doesn't matter which culture you're in, and even which generation. It's about how do we get on with each other? How do we create a magical conversation rather than a conversation which is chaotic, destructive, uh, just angry, that's just not going to work. So
Uh-huh.
we can have very lively conversations. It's not about not being energized, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not being destructive. That's my
Right.
passion. So
You
I
know,
want world harmony. That's my goal, Tamara, is world harmony. And I mean, you know, even my husband, who's absolutely adorable, but he says, "Oh, you're much too optimistic."
oh no, no, no,
Well,
I'm
why
with
not?
you. I'm so with you on that. I mean, here with your magical conversation and with service heroes, and if we can just boil this down in such bite-sized pieces for people to say, you know what, all I need to do is think about today. Can I serve someone? Can I have a magical conversation and understand, what it is and where someone's coming from, and then the harmony of that. I don't think it's impossible. I really don't, but I am one of those kind of dreamers people have said, or I think very big, and I don't,
Well, I think
nothing's impossible, right?
that's where you and I connected so quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Current focus is to understand uh, where men are coming from today, because I think men are a little bit afraid, confused, frustrated with what's going on. So I'm interviewing men over Zoom and recording these, obviously with their permission, and then I'd like to share those online so that men and women can watch them and listen and almost have an insight into that conversation that I have in my workshops. And then I've designed a program called Men of the Future now, so that men can come together and again share. But my passion is, I love business, I love life, but I would really like to help senior men and women to understand how to manage mixed cultures of different types of men and women, so that if business can be more smooth and fluid and creative, it will impact us in the whole of our life.
Isn't that the
So,
truth?
and
Yes.
I laugh about taking magical conversations into business. But the truth is that whenever I say I'm the ambassador of magical conversations, people go, "Oh, wow, that's really interesting." They don't know what it means, but they want it.
Yes. First of all, kudos to you. Hats off for that. That title. That the way of explaining it in such a concise and magical way. It really does. It's so intriguing. You want to know more. And you are so intriguing. You just want to hear you telling, what it is. It's a magical combination. Let's put it that way. I want to focus two more things, because it's so relevant. Because I'm going to be sharing this, as I told you, with the Chemo Buddies for Life too, because of the fact that you had said that when you were traveling, you married your husband, you were traveling looking for a country, if you will, because of his health challenges due to
Yes.
colon cancer and the surgeries that created some problematic situations. However, the good news here is that he is with you, and
Here's with me.
also it ties into what you're doing right now, because you had said and you had shared with me that his personality is one type, your personality is another type. So it's been a really good um, think tank. It's been a really good
Oh, absolutely. And
opportunity for you to do some
yeah,
studies.
the good news is that he's cancer free. The challenges he has with his body, then we cope with. But he's kind of the more introvert, sensitive, intuitive musician, and I'm the kind of the masculine energy businesswoman. So it's a great compliment, because he enables me to have somebody very loving to come home to when I'm out there, doing my business bit. And I need that. That's the compliment we need.
Right.
And the blueprint helps us to understand all different relationships. That's just one, but it
Mhm.
helps in all matters. It's a 360-degree look at all issues, and I mean all issues.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up, because, for one, the fact that we would consider you then a support buddy, you in our world, because you are supporting your husband.
Yeah.
And see, and the way it works is he is supporting you.
Oh,
And then
yes.
the magical conversation is so important. And I really want to stress this, especially for the Putties page, is because as you know, the challenges of going through anything life altering, and cancer can be a change. It creates change. Can create also stresses in relationships, and that often comes out in conversation that is not necessarily always the healthiest, and that only compounds what's already a difficult situation. And so the fact that you have been with your husband, and he was diagnosed early on, and you're here in the United States now, in his home country. The goal was originally to, I would think, be in one of the two countries. You're here, and now you're able to go out there, and that was the number two, into the work world, and to share this information and to do the studies that you're doing. I just wanted to touch on that just a little bit more in regards to, like, if you were to give something, and this would go across all, because we're talking about being a service hero, and you're our service hero today, Pauline. Thank you. And if you were to give something, a nugget to not only the cancer community, the Chemo Buddies for Life, but this is really across the board. What would that be? What would that gift be?
Well, the evolution of the idea of magical conversations. I think I've always been a conversationalist. But interestingly enough, my daughter actually gave me the title about 8 years ago because she said, "Oh, Mum, you're so good at conversations." But I think where the nuggets I can share with people, and it relates to my husband Jim being unwell, is that when you're unwell and you're going through treatments, you can get quite angry with the situation. Why has life done this to me? Um, and so the first rule of magical conversations is to have no judgment, to have no judgment about why you're doing what you're doing, why the illness is there, why it's come up. And I often say to him, this is a unique experience that I have had in understanding how to be deeply in love with somebody and to serve their issues and learn from that. And so the first kind of rule, if you like, of the magical conversation in any partnership or any group is to have no judgment about what's going on around you. The second one is no anger. And again, this relates to somebody who's had cancer. I think there are challenges both with the cancer patient and the carer that, we can get angry about why has this happened to me? And anger is no good to us. I mean, anger is going to make us more ill. It could make me ill. So if he does feel anger about his condition, I make him laugh. I make him play music because he's a musician.
Oh, that's great.
And the third rule is don't rush to action before you're ready. So that's another thing we often do. We go, oh, that's that, is that, or we need to do something. And actually, we need time to share. So even in a normal conversation, you have no judgment, you have no anger, and you have no pressure on the other people or yourself to make a decision when you're not ready. And I think that relates quite a lot to women. I think sometimes women think, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to please. But actually, we need to be sure that when we're talking about in very important subjects, especially, which magical conversations can tackle with those rules, that we allow time for everybody to share. So it does help you to serve other people, but account for yourself in it. So you mustn't not account. So you need to know yourself, understand your experience is a valuable part of the conversation. Your ability to be not just calm, you can be lively and passionate, but not angry, and not make a decision too soon by thinking you're doing the best thing. Make sure that everybody allows themselves to contribute. And it is magic. All sorts of things come out that you could never imagine.
You know, I can't even tell you how magical this is. It's when Chemo Buddies for Life was first thought about, and we were trying to figure it all out. Humor, hope, and heart were three of the areas that we just thought, okay, we're going to wash everything through those: humor, hope, and heart, and that we're not going to just be. We want to support, of course, the patient population, but we want to support the support people that know and are, that care and love for these that support them, and the medical community. And it's been a bit of a challenge, if you will, to try to find those things that cross the those boundaries that there kind of are, so that there could be some type of unity, and not all of the there's so many breakups, if you will. There's so many families that are splitting. There's so many heartaches. There's so much going on. And in this conversation with you, you just gave a gift that is going to continue giving. And I almost feel like crying. I really do, because it is just, oh well, I mean, truly, this is more than, I mean, David T. Fagan always says breakthrough, like breakthrough, like this is more than a breakthrough. And this is the mother lode. This is the magic conversation that can actually change the dynamics of what is happening in so many lives. And I can't even say thank you enough. I see that we have some comments, and with this new format, I kind of hide them because I don't know quite how to do this, but we've had quite a few people watching, giving hearts, giving thumbs up. Let's see if we have, let's show any, if there's any questions. Okay, I agree. Judy, hi everyone. Judy says, I agree 100%. Well said.
Oh,
Sharon is sharing this. She's actually sharing the live right now on her messenger. And she said, good morning. And if anybody else has any questions or comments, if you want to go ahead and share them here quickly. Oh, Shannon Hughes, who was one of our service heroes. I had a hard time not able to give, is one of the ones that I was challenged to getting him live. So I owe him a live. He is saying, awesome, you too. So, and he's amazing. In fact, Shannon, you need to hook up with Pauline and what she's doing.
I'd
You know,
love
Pauline, I want to thank you for today. I could go on and on and on, and I know that everybody would probably, we just have more people coming on live, because your heart, your direct nature, and yet that face that just has so much love coming through it. I mean,
thank you.
okay, done. Yes, Shannon says done. You two are going to connect. He
Good.
has,
I look
yeah,
forward to it, Shannon.
he has a podcast on Voice America, and he's an influencer extraordinaire, and good. He helps get messages out there and making a difference.
Well, I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
we've got to get harmony back into this world. It's
yes.
this whole idea of I'm right, you're wrong is just, it's a waste of time. We have to contribute, share, use the magic. So much comes out of it. It's just so important.
Oh my goodness. Well said. Well said, Touche. Yes. You know, for those that are watching right now, I am going to really emphasize the three rules to the blueprint, right? That's what it's called. The three rules, in that if we can put these into place, if we can really embody these rules, if we can make these rules a habit, and then
Yes.
we can just, those people that we touch, even just the lead by example, which is not a just, that is huge. Lead by example, but go out there and share this particular, if you like what Pauline has shared with us, share it with others, because
Absolutely. And let it ripple, because the ripple is
yes,
what works.
yes. And one of our buddies, she's saying yes, she agrees. And then we have one of our international buddies. He's a support buddy for his aunt, who is right now struggling in another country. And he is, Saeed, we have Pauline, and you're going to need to go back and watch this, because it is a magical, I'm going to put it that way. It is a magical broadcast. And I am honored, Pauline. I am amazingly thrown from my tiptoes honored that you came on live with me. I am thrilled that the magical mystery technology worked for us today, and thank you
It was,
for that.
that was magic, wasn't it? That we
Yeah, it
actually.
was, because I've been struggling with this. And I want to also thank you for your studies, for your love of your husband, and being by his side. I know you have an amazing love for him, but even that sometimes creates an issue, because as you know, when you have someone that you love and care for that's going through cancer, and the struggle of things not going the way you want them, and having
Yes,
to face a new normal life, that
yeah,
not is not only just for that patient, but it's for all the people that love and support that person. And we can either give up on them, or we can embrace them, and we can go move forward. And the magic of what can happen, you never know, that might be the life that you were meant to live. And so the
absolutely.
rules
And
the
anytime
rules
I can help any communities, to take this message further who have cancer, then I'd be honoured.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to be sharing this on our page, on the Chemo Buddies for Life page. And Saeed, her husband, is the survivor of colon cancer.
Yes,
And you'll need to watch this because it is an international story. And so I'm going to end here, because I could go on forever, because I can just tell you, my cup is so full right now. My soul is just in a delightful sense of wow, and I
you're
really
a very beautiful person, Tamara, and I adore you too. So it's a
well,
mutual
thank
match
you.
here.
Well, then there you go. And that's the joy, and part of the message that hopefully those that have been watching the Service Hero saga, or the 365 days of awesome,
Yeah,
celebrate success through service, are finding that we are building a community of people that are being recognized for what it is that they're doing in their part of the world to help this world a better place. And as we end today, I want to really encourage, go and really write down these rules, write down these tips, the blueprint. Go put them, on your mirror, so you see them first thing in the morning. Put them by your nightstand so you see them right before you go to sleep. And let's make this a habit. And how about in 30 days we even do a follow-up, because it's 28 days, right? So let's I would love to at least get on, and if you would be willing, and we could do a follow-up to say, okay, you guys, Tamara gave a
yeah,
challenge, and I haven't done this yet. I don't do this lightly either, because when I take a challenge, I really take it on.
yes,
So if you're willing, if you hear this and you're willing to take this challenge, I would love for you to do that. Take Pauline's challenge, and let's make it a 30-day challenge. Let's make it the blueprint, 3 rules, 30-day
yeah.
challenge. There you
I
go.
think that's great, and let's hear the stories of what
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, and I will learn this technology beforehand, because there's a way of being able to bring people on. So this gives Tamara 30 days to practice, and so then what we could do is, if anybody that would be willing to get on and share what that 30 days did for them, or those people around them, we could then have them come in and out of this chat, and we could visit with them. How does that sound?
fantastic. Yeah,
Okay,
let's go.
so yes, anybody that's willing to take the challenge, I'd love to hear it, and you can make it public, but I'm not going to hold you to making it public, because you know what, that's the Chemo Buddies thing is, we do. No, I got it. I got you there. Okay, guys. So, but if you want to make it public, do. And then every day, really think about those 3 rules, and that way you will be serving yourself, and you will be absolutely amazed in how you will
Yeah.
be serving others, and they're going to say, what's different, right?
Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah. So,
Okay, so the challenge is on. Let us know if you want, but you don't have to. All right, but take it on, and let's do this together. Okay.
let's do it. No
All
judgment, no
right. I just
action.
love you, Pauline. Thank you for being day number 41, our service hero. 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. Make it
Thank you.
a great Monday, everybody. Make it a joyful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.